Hi everyone, it's Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. So in our lives, it's oftentimes really easy for us to label situations and experiences that we have in our lives as either being good or being bad. Particularly based on what our expectation is for how things are going to net out. But I'll tell you, if one thing, if anything within the pandemic taught me, and I think maybe you as well, is that there are sometimes in our lives where situations don't turn out the way we want them to, but they kind of put us into a different direction that end up in the long run being a real blessing. It's all based on our perception. And it reminds me of a story that I heard years ago that I oftentimes would share with my martial arts students as well as when I was doing talks with teenagers. And it goes something like this. There's a young attorney in Southern California, and he is leaving the Orange County area and going north on the 405 freeway for an appointment that he has near LAX airport. And he's already a little nervous when he gets into the car because he's running behind going to his next appointment. And he gets onto the highway and he's now common speed with everyone at about 75 miles per hour, and he breathes a sigh of relief. The traffic is moving smoothly, and based on his calculations, he's going to be able to get to his next appointment right on time. So he clicks on the cruise control, he turns up the car radio to Hootie and the Blowfish, my personal favorite, and he's headed on his way to his next appointment. Now he's locked in at that 75 mile an hour common speed, and he thinks life is good, and all of a sudden he looks in his rearview mirror and he sees the red flashing light of the California Highway Patrol. So he pulls over on the side of the road, and of course the chippy officer gets off his motorcycle and walks up and says, "Sir, license and registration, please." Well, the young attorney is already nervous and upset about being late for his appointment, but now he's like, "Officer, why did you pull me over? I'm going the same speed as everyone else." And the guy just smiles at him and says, once again, "License and registration, sir." So he takes it from him. He goes back to his motorcycle and he's typing things in, and now the attorney's getting really nervous because he's thinking, holy moly, I think I'm going to be late for this appointment. The chippy takes his time bringing the ticket up to his car, and he says, "Thank you, sir, so much. Please drive safely," and hands him a $250 ticket. Well, now the attorney is very, very upset. He's almost certain to be late for his meeting, but he doesn't want to get pulled over again. So he goes back onto the freeway, clicks in the cruise control to 55 miles an hour, and he's on his way. And as soon he's on the road, just a couple more minutes, and all of a sudden, all 6 lanes on the 405 come to a complete stop. He's now in anguish, and he slams both of his hands on the steering wheel because now he knows he's going to be late and thinking, why is this happening to me? But as he's sitting there in traffic, he has this little intuition that says, turn on the radio. So he turns on the car radio, and at first he thinks he's really messed up. He thinks he's really screwed because he finds out that there's been a 50-car pileup about 10 miles ahead on the freeway. Now at first, he's very upset, but then all of a sudden he realizes, had he not been pulled over by the police officer when he most likely would have been right in the middle of that 50-car pileup on the freeway. So then he asks himself the question, was the ticket good or was it bad? Each and every one of us has times in our lives when we think that things the way that we want them to happen don't. But then oftentimes we look back and say, wow, that was really the best thing that could have happened to me. It put me in the right direction. And it could have been that job you got fired from, and then you went on to open up your own business. It could be that relationship that ended that really, really crushed you, but then what it did is it allowed you to really look at yourself and then eventually meet the love of your life. And it could have been the illness that really just put you totally on your side, but it was the wake-up call for you to really look at your life differently and really be committed to your health and wellness. So my question for you, my friends, this week is, are there things in your life that you've been looking at in the past, or maybe you're experiencing now, that you think is bad, but if you really take some time to look at it and you get real with yourself, you find out that there was some real good and real blessings. So that's my message for you today, my friends. Let's be open to looking at all of our experiences for what they bring to us. Even if at first blush, they seem like they're not what we want, they could be the very blessing that we're asking for. So As always, if you've enjoyed this, please make sure to share this, comment, like, etc., etc. And I hope that this week you're able to really take a look and see where some of the things some of the hardships you had in your life, now when you look back at them, have really turned out to be amazing blessings. So, everyone, this has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.